We realize that when technologies are generated in the absence of farmers, it becomes your technology and not a technology for them. That is why from now on a new paradigm in agricultural research is developing technologies with farmers. They are part of the development of these technologies, and the technologies must measure up to their cultural beliefs, they must measure up to their income levels, they must measure up to the levels where they can have meaning to the farmers, and of course, increased income and food security.
The administration's resolve to stamp out financial and moral impropriety has reduced official corruption and indiscipline within the system and inspired a sense of honesty in service and dignity in labor. Public officials have been successfully prosecuted in the past, and many others are still standing trial for various crimes, including economic and financial crimes.
The theme, a definitive no to drugs and corruption, commits us all to transcend from merely recognizing the two as the worst enemies of social and economic progress, to exposing and bringing all those who have anything to do with these unforgivable acts of greed and deceit to account for their deeds.
In the area of public information, the new government was aware of the power of information as an agent of change. For the first time, public radio broadcasting, which hitherto covered just about half of the country, covered the entire nation. And the first national television station was established within the first 2 years of the new administration taking over.
In 1995, when the TV was installed, the station was installed, TV came into the Gambia. First, the Aboko transmitter was installed, a 5 kilowatt. We served up to the western region, up to maybe Sintet and others. Then came Masakonko to serve the other areas, Jara and the North Bank, part of the North Bank, then Bansang.
More recently, satellite broadcasting was introduced, with both the national radio and television broadcasting to both domestic and international audience.
Meaning we not only covering for the Gambia or the sub-region, we cover the whole of Africa, Middle East, the whole of Europe, going to Greenland and part of United States, then the whole of South America also. So you see, it has an advantage also for us, the engineers, because at first we are using the fiber network, Gamtel fiber network, to connect the studios to the transmitters. But with this satellite now we are global. We can also receive from the satellite, feed into the transmitters and then rebroadcast terrestrial. Because not many people can afford the satellite dish. But then with terrestrial broadcast, you just need a TV and just affordable antenna to get your signals.
For us now, we are presenting what we call 5 E's. That is educative programs, effective programs that are eye-catching, explanatory and entertaining programs to complement our social and corporate responsibility as national broadcasters to present high-quality programs. And again, looking at the development, within a very short lifespan, the Jammeh administration was able to go into satellite project. Some people thought that whether it was a dream, but it was not a dream, it was a reality.
The past 16 years witnessed exponential growth in the number of private media organizations in the country. From private newspapers to magazines to FM radio stations, including community radios, the numbers continue to grow. From communication to transport, health and education, agriculture and energy, information technology and finance, great strides continue to be registered, due in no small measure to the requisite backbone infrastructure crucial for economic activity. Bridging the gap between rural and urban settlements in terms of resources and services is a sure way of standardizing the development process. And devolving authority is another sure way of empowering the people. Development and good governance are a twin concept that guarantees economic prosperity, safeguards political stability, and enhances social justice.
The year 1965 is symbolic in the history of the Gambia. It marked the birth of a new nation and the birth of a distinguished son of the land who has had tremendous influence over the lives of his compatriots. Born in Kanilai in the country's western region, Yaya Jammeh attended St. Anthony's Primary School in Kanilai and later St. Edward's Primary School in Buyam, where he sat to the Common Entrance examination and joined Gambia High School on government scholarship in 1978. On completing high school, Jammeh enlisted in the military in 1984, where he rose through the ranks to the position of lieutenant and headed the military police unit of the Gambia National Army. In September 1993, the young lieutenant attended a military police training course at Port McClellan, Alabama, United States, where he obtained a diploma in military science. Months after his return from overseas training, Jammeh led one of Africa's most progressive revolutions that delivered Gambians from endemic poverty, socio-economic deprivation, and political marginalization. July 1994 was a turning point in the Gambia's quest for self-realization. When Jammeh led a peaceful and popular change of government, the story has since been different, and the picture dramatically transformed. Right from the onset, President Jammeh took up the ambitious and challenging task of making meaningful interventions in the key sectors of health, education, and agriculture. An unprecedented number of health facilities, including the famous AFPRC hospital in Farafenye and the Suleiman Junkung Hospital in Buyam, sprang up in all parts of the country, filling an ostensible void in health service delivery. The doctor-patient ratio witnessed a tremendous increase, and for once, the national rates for child and maternal mortality and morbidity were brought down to a record low.
In HIV, there are two things that we look out for: the CD4 count and the viral load.
In a fit of extraordinary endowment, Jammeh amazed the whole world when he announced his ability and willingness to contribute to treating patients living with HIV and AIDS.
I can raise my hand, and I raise my hand to be challenged by anybody, call a professor or a scientist, who knows AIDS more than I know. There's nobody today.
The potency of his special therapy soon attracts scores of people from far and near who are found at last in a man gifted by nature. HIV and AIDS had hitherto baffled the conventional world of science and medicine, and even the president's detractors could not help wondering in bemusement as Jammeh continued to render a rare service to humankind.
As a leader, your statement must be clear to everyone. There's no ambiguity. A leader like me, who has so many detractors in and out of the country, I have to make sure that whatever I deliver to the people is clearly understood by the people.
When Jammeh offered to provide treatment for complex medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, hypertension, and infertility, the number of patients seeking to meet him increased by the day. Beneficiaries of this robust regime of treatment are a living testimony to their efficacy. With an ardent personal interest in the advancement of agriculture, rooted in his back-to-the-land philosophy, Jammeh pioneered and guided the drive to revitalize the sector. For him, agriculture